Vine stormed into the living room, her heels clicking angrily against the marble floor. She had tried to keep her cool, but the news she just received was the final straw. Jungkook was sitting in the leather chair, calm and composed, looking through some documents. His dark, intense eyes flicked at the sound of her approaching, sensing rage. Jungkook, 3, 2. He counted, his eyes on the document. When he counted 1 was the time the door burst open and his angry woman marched inside. Why? Jungkook, what was that move? She asked, her voice sharp, eyes blazing with fury. He raised an eyebrow, his face unreadable. Jungkook, what are you talking about? Wine, you cancelled my meeting with the charity board without even asking me? I had everything set up, but then I got a call saying it's been postponed because you thought it wasn't safe. Jungkook leaned back in his chair, his expression as calm as ever. But there was a flicker of something dangerous in his eyes. Jungkook, I did what was necessary. Wine, there were threats. I'm not going to risk your safety for our meeting. Her heart pounded in her chest, her anger boiling over. Why? I can take care of myself, Jungkook. You can't just make decisions for me like I'm some fragile thing that you have to protect all the time. Wine was usually a very understanding partner. She appreciates his affection and protection. But sometimes it gets too much. He's a powerful figure with a lot of enemies, and it makes sense why is he always protective of her. She gets tired sometimes. Sometimes she just wants to breathe without caring about all these threats. She prepared hard for this, and it was frustrating to see it this way. Suddenly, in the blur of a movement, Jungkook stood up, his tall frame towering over her as he closed the distance between them in 2 steps. One's breath caught in her throat as he grabbed her waist and spun her around, pinning her against the cold wall. His hands were firm but gentle as he trapped her in place, his face now inches from hers. His eyes were burning with intensity, his voice low and dangerous. Jungkook, do you have any idea what I would do if something happened to you? He growled, his lips almost brushing against hers. Jungkook, you're not just anyone, Ryan. You're my wife, my queen, and I'll protect you, whether you like it or not. Ryan's anger flared again, but her words died on her lips as his gaze locked onto hers. His presence, the raw power he exuded, made it impossible for her to look away. Her heart raced, but not entirely from the argument. The tension between them sparked like electricity, and she felt her pulse quicken as his hands moved to cup her cheek. Why? You can't just. She started, but before she could finish, his lips crashed against hers in a fierce, possessive kiss. Her body responded immediately, melting against him despite her anger earlier. His kiss was deep and demanding, taking away every thought, every argument she had prepared to throw at him. She could feel the heat radiating from him, the way his grip tightened on her wrist, pulling her closer, as if he couldn't hear the thought of her slipping away from him. She broke away for a breath, gasping, Jungkook, I, Jungkook, I'll do whatever it takes to keep you safe, even if it makes you angry. He whispered, his voice hoarse with emotion, his forehead resting against hers. Mine closed her eyes, her heart pounding in her chest. She wanted to stay angry, but the way he held her, the way he kissed her, made it impossible. His love was fierce, overwhelming, but it was his way of showing just how much she meant to him. Ryan, I just want you to trust me, she murmured, her voice softer now. He nodded, brushing his lips against hers again, more gently this time. Jungkook, I do. But you have to understand why. I'll never stop protecting you. Not in this life, not ever. Her anger dissolved completely as she wrapped her arms around his neck, pulling him closer. Ryan, if you really postponed it, then you should have at least informed me. Jungkook, then you would have made an arrangements for it to take place right then. I needed you to know it yourself at the very last moment. On that, he received a slap on his chest, which he had himself prepared for it. It was too light, he hardly felt any impact, but the glare in her eyes was something he would definitely fear from. Ryan, just don't keep me in the dark next time. I'm your wife. Jungkook smiled against her lips, his grip on her wrist softening but still firm. Jungkook, deal. And with that, he kissed her again, this time slower, savoring the moment, and all the tension from their argument melted away in the heat of their embrace.